Spring is in full swing. We've got lots of babies here on the homestead, and I am getting into somewhat of a rhythm with our new little baby. He's really settling in, and so I've been able to get back to doing some things that I enjoy, like thrifting. We're going to do a thrift haul in this video, and I'm excited because it's been a while, and you all know we love our thrift hauls. And along with that, I thought it would be fitting to talk about something that I have had to learn the hard way in my 12, 13 years being a wife and a mother. And that is not having an all or nothing mindset. And it applies to so many things, especially for those of us who are trying, maybe we're like the first generation to try to reclaim a lot of the older ways, such as homesteading, homemaking, having lots of babies, doing all of the natural things. It's easy to want to be a sort of modern pioneer woman. And by the way, if you watched last week's video, you saw this mama who I found under our porch sitting on a pile of eggs. And last week she had only had 2 or 3 chicks, but they're all hatched. There are 9 of them, and they're just so cute. I love waking up and hearing their little chirps all around the back porch, and they currently love hanging out in my roses, which roses are in full bloom. They're looking really pretty. So I'm going to be cooking as we talk about this all or nothing mindset. And today I am making one of my family's recipes that I know that everybody's going to like it. This is always something that, nobody complains about. Everybody likes it. Everybody wants more. And it is Swedish meatball pasta. So I'll be making Swedish meatballs and a really good creamy sauce that goes with it, and then homemade pasta. Now, you don't have to make the pasta homemade, and that kind of goes back to that all or nothing thing. With so many recipes, you can do like totally from scratch where you're using fresh eggs, fresh raw milk, all the best ingredients. Every part of the recipe is from scratch. Or usually things can be modified. And if you need to use store-bought stuff, or like I'm not using raw milk here, it's fine. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. So going back to that, like modern pioneer woman, it's a really cool concept. I clearly love it because I try to do as much of it as I can. I love having my own eggs and milk and garden produce, making things from scratch. But the reality is that I think we tend to glamorize the pioneer lifestyle when actually it was a very difficult lifestyle. The pioneers who traveled from Europe and settled this land alone at great cost. So it's a very difficult road to walk, and it's unnatural. That was not the end goal. That was what they had to do to settle this land and make a future for their family. But the end goal was to build communities to where one woman didn't have to do and be everything. One woman didn't have to be the baker, the, seamstress. Oh gosh, everything, like the milkmaid. There were many people in a community that all of them had a specialty, and they could work together and rely on one another and patronize each other's little home businesses. That was the end goal for the pioneers. And in fact, just talking as I make these meatballs here, I use these Swedish meatballs are just so good. I actually have a recipe on my blog, Meatballs and Gravy, and it's the same, basically the same meatballs. So I'll link that too. But I want to talk a little bit more about the goal of the pioneers. But first, we are going to take a short break, and then I'll be right back to our little chat here. You all know by now that I'm not a purist by any means, but I'm definitely on the more crunchy side of things, and I like to stay away from throwaway culture as much as possible. That is one reason why I love Wild. And last time I told you all about Wild, you love them too. So we're bringing them back today. Wild makes natural deodorant and body wash that comes in reusable cases with compostable refills. So there's no single-use plastic. I think to date, Wild has saved a cute little sneeze. That was really cute. Wild has saved over 200 tons of plastic. So that's always awesome when we can be environmentally friendly, but it's also important that a natural product actually works. And I would say that is my favorite thing about Wild. Wild is free of aluminum salts, parabens, and sulfates, but it goes on smooth and it actually works. It provides 24-hour coverage. It's not sticky. You know what I'm talking about. If you've tried a million different natural deodorants like I have, they're just okay. This is the first one I found that I really, really like and that I've been able to convince my husband to use because, you know, he works in construction, so he has to have something that actually works. Lots of cute colors and patterns for the cases, and you can get them engraved as well. My kids each have my older kids have a different color, and I got them engraved so they know which one is theirs, and they have more boyish ones like black ones too if your husband or your son wants one or something. But they just released for a limited time an Emma Bridgewater case that is so cute. I just have to show you. This is the case. So you just buy this one time, and when you run out of deodorant, then you get a refill. These are totally compostable refills. Like I said, lots of different scents. This is honey and cactus flower, and I really, really like it. Like I said, very springy, like warm floral notes in this one. So all you do is pull the bottom off of your case and take this part off of the refill, put your refill in the case like this, and you're good to go. They also have these little deodorant sticks, so these are perfect for on the go. Just put one in your diaper bag and your purse. And I love having natural deodorant, especially when you're breastfeeding. You know, I don't always wear deodorant, but when I do, like, the baby's right there. I just don't want anything toxic getting in baby's face or in my milk for that matter. For a limited time, you can get 20% off of your order when you use my code HHWILD. I will put my code and my link in the description for you, so just tap the more button and you'll see all the details. And remember, if you want this super cute Emma Bridgewater bee case, then that is only available for a limited time as well. So, you know, we all love our Little House on the Prairie. At least I love Little House on the Prairie. And here I am in my Ma Ingalls element making some homemade pasta. I don't know, did Ma Ingalls make pasta? Was that something she made? I never remember seeing her make pasta. She made biscuits, she made bread. I don't know about pasta. Anyway, this homemade pasta recipe, it's actually really easy, and it's pretty quick. It doesn't take that long. It's not that much hands-on time if you are not getting interrupted by lots of kids, but I always am getting interrupted. So I try to start my meals earlier in the day than when I know we'll be eating, especially if I really want to make something from scratch. So this pasta recipe, all of this will be linked in the description. Just tap the more button below the video and you can get the detailed recipes with step-by-step instructions for everything I'm making here. But let's talk about this. So, you know, we love our Ma Ingalls, where they were, you know, alone on the prairie, nobody in sight for miles and miles and miles around. It's truly amazing what the pioneers were able to do, and, you know, all of the dangers and everything that they faced to settle this land. But like we talked about, that wasn't the end goal, and most of them didn't come over here alone. A lot of families traveled from Europe or wherever they were coming from in large groups, and my family has a very similar story. I can trace my family's roots in the town that we live in currently all the way back to, you know, my family was my dad's family, I should say, one of the first 12 Catholic families to settle this area. And what Catholics did back in the day is they would travel with a priest because they needed to be able to celebrate the Mass, and community has always been very important in Catholicism. So you would have several Catholic families and usually a priest, maybe some sisters, some religious people that would come along with you so that you're not facing this new land and new world without the most important thing, which is, your spiritual life and foundation. I should really have my dad tell this story because he knows all the details better than I do, but I think I can get close to getting it right. So anyway, there were 12 families that set out from Germany, I believe, and I'm pretty sure they definitely had a priest with them. They were Catholic families, lots of children, of course, and they took the boat across the ocean. I believe they came over through New Orleans and sailed up the Mississippi, and they got off at St. Louis. And how it worked back then, there were at these river towns, the big river towns that were established, there would be brochures that you could read about different settlements that you could go to, if you continued your journey out west. And this group of Catholic families found a brochure for the place where I live now. And it sounded wonderful. It looked like there were, a lot of opportunities for land. It wasn't that far up the Missouri River. And so they set off along the Missouri River. And when they arrived, they wanted to, the town that they were trying to get to, or the settlement they were trying to get to, was on the north side of the river. But I guess the river was high. For some reason, they couldn't get off on the north side. So they decided to stay on the south side of the river just for that winter. And then they would move over to the north side. While there were already some Protestant families who were living on the south side of the river, and they spent that winter there. They were welcomed by the Protestant families, and they actually got along so well that they ended up staying, and they established, a Catholic church there and a little Catholic community, and that's how they got started. And, here I am a couple hundred years later, and I made my way to the north side of the river because I married a boy from the north side of the river. So I'm here. I found my way to the original spot. But anyway, that's how it looked for a lot of people. They didn't come alone. They had a community. And so they weren't doing everything alone. I mean, electricity didn't exist. So a lot of things, indoor plumbing wasn't happening. So life was harder in some ways, but it was easier in ways too because there were people. And all the people had a lot of common skills because people had to know how to do things. And like I said, they were obviously having more children back then. So there were more, just more people, more aunts and uncles, more cousins, more grandparents. And so in that way, a lot of people actually weren't living the pioneer lifestyle as we imagine it today, where they were doing every single thing on their own. So as you can see, I'm finishing up my pasta here, and there's just nothing like fresh pasta. This is one of those things you just get spoiled on. You guys have seen me. I still use boxed pasta sometimes, and that really ties into our theme of our discussion here of all or nothing. It's wonderful to have the skills to know how to do all the things, to make everything 100% from scratch, to grow your own garden, to milk a cow, to tend to chickens, to process meat, and do all of those things. It's wonderful to know how to do those things. But I would caution you against getting yourself into a place to where you think you have to do all of those things just to live up to, some kind of idea of a pioneer woman, when in reality, that's not a very glamorous lifestyle, and it's really not what our end goal should be. I love the idea of self-sufficiency to an extent, but really we should be striving for community and being able to rely on others who have developed a specialty and a skill in some area. And that is what I hope we get back to. But it's going to take time because, the age of chemistry and the age of industry, we've just completely lost so many of these skills to where most of us become homemakers and mothers with no skills at all, to be totally honest. The only skills we have are skills out in the workforce that don't really help us in the home. And it's going to take a generation or two to recover that sense of community. So in the meantime, we can feel like we are pioneer women, like we're the only ones around trying to recover these skills. So moving along outside, we've got some projects, it's that time of year where the projects that needed to be done through the winter are happening. So you saw there, we've got some cedars that the guys cut down, and they're making posts and boards to use all around the farm. So, you know, just putting our land to use in that way. And the little guys love watching all that and hanging out anytime there's a project being done, which I love. I love that they can soak all that in and you know, just observe and come to know that eventually they will be called to participate in helping around here as well. It really gives them a sense of purpose. They're, you know, learning skills and just working toward, you know, we have 5 children so far, working toward building that community. And community starts with family. Okay, let's head back inside and talk about one of our favorite things, which is thrifting. The kitchen is overrun with treasures from my latest thrift haul. I actually took my camera along with me on this thrift haul. I went to 3 different spots and videoed the whole thing, and then I accidentally deleted all the footage. And that's sad because I showed you some things that I was thinking about getting and a couple of things that I bought that I haven't been able to get home to my house yet. So on this thrift haul, I went to 3 different spots, like I said, and there's a little bit of drama because, you know, let's see, the baby is 7 weeks old. I have not been thrifting since I had the baby. And in fact, I didn't even go in like the last month of my pregnancy because I was just trying to get things done here around the house. And a lot of stuff went down when I was out of the thrifting game. My grandpa kind of kept me in the loop because he's like a really big thrifter too. And here's what happened. Okay, I had to pause to save the baby from toddler kisses. I'm sitting over there, and my toddler loves to kiss the baby, but sometimes it's just too much. Anyway, my grandpa filled me in. This is what happened. So the thrift shop that I always go to, the one that I've taken you guys to, and I get these just insane deals for like $1 or $2 or whatever. That has been my spot for a really long time. But the main guy, I don't know if he owned it or he just worked there and ran it. He left, and it's under new ownership. This all happened while I was out of commission with the baby. It's under new ownership, and according to my grandpa and my sister, they have become very proud of their prices. So that's kind of disappointing. But the guy who was running it and left started his own thrift shops. He started like a main thrift shop and a dollar outlet. So I was really excited about that. And my grandpa said, well, he's just gonna stick with that guy and go to his shops. And I said, I'll probably do the same, but I gotta check them out. I need to see firsthand what's going on here. So my daughter and I and the baby went to all 3 spots. We went to the old spot that is apparently proud of their prices now, and then we went to the 2 new spots. And honestly, they were all 3 great. Yes, I can see where the old spot kind of has become a little proud, but I found an insane deal there. I found, which I'll probably have to show you in the next video because I don't think I can get them home in time to show you in this video, but I found 2 oversized recliners that I think are really, really pretty. I mean, they look custom made. Like, this doesn't look like something that you could just buy. The recliners I have now, well, almost all my furniture is thrifted. Almost my whole house is thrifted. You guys know that. That's my #1 hack to having a home that looks, you know, it's got like the old vintagey antique-y vibe. Looks like it was curated and super expensive, but it's dirt cheap. I'm just patient, and I take my time and I pick through junk to find the one treasure. But anyway, the chairs I have in my living room now, I actually got them for $250 off of Facebook Marketplace, and they're like $1,200 chairs. But I have 4 boys, and so, you know, it's been 3 years and they're destroyed. So, there's that. So anyway, I found these new recliners. They were $65 a piece, and they're in great shape. So I'll show you guys those next week. But everything behind me was $85. Now that is actually, there's a table here too, I'll show you. That's actually a lot. For me to spend over $20 or $30 in one thrift haul is a lot, plus the $65 chairs. But these were really good, solid pieces, a couple of them that I paid, you know, more for, so I just had to pull the trigger. So let's get going and find homes for all of these new things that I got on my thrift haul. I never pass up a really solid, heavy-duty mixing bowl. when I find one when I'm thrifting. So that one there, I think was like $6.99. Because I just cook so much. Mine don't last that long. They get cracked, they break, and then I need a new one. So that's just something I like to grab when I find one. I found this cute little basket. This was $1, I think. $1, $2? Yeah, $1. There we go. And I thought I'd put my stuff in there, like my little daily to-do list, whatever book I'm reading, my markers and pens and stuff. I'm always grading stuff for the kids. So baskets, yet another thing that I only buy thrifted. This was another cute little basket, very solid little basket. It was $1, and I like finding little baskets for the kids' little toys and stuff. So yeah, baskets. Don't buy them new. Thrift them. You will save a ton of money. So let's talk about something else that I really like to thrift, and that is clothes. I do not thrift all my clothes. Some stuff, especially dresses, I like to buy new because it's a very specific type of dress that I like to buy, something that I can nurse in and be pregnant in. I like them to last in all seasons. But other stuff, I will thrift. But one of the things that I think can be tempting is, you go thrifting, you find a good deal on something and it fits you, and so you buy it, but it doesn't actually go with your wardrobe. Don't do that. Especially if you're a busy mom, I really recommend finding your colors and your style and then sticking to that and just building a capsule wardrobe. That doesn't mean it has to be really small. Like, I typically, when I think capsule wardrobe, I think really small. If you like to have more clothes, that's fine. But just try to put together things to where everything could go, with something else. You're not just standing there staring at your closet thinking, I have nothing to wear. So this is just another area that I personally am not all or nothing. Not everything I own is thrifted. I actually spend a little bit more on dresses that I buy new because I want them to last, and they do last. And I have like I said, I've got a certain style that I like, that I know I can wear in all seasons of motherhood. But today's thrift haul of clothes actually comes from my mom's closet. That's another trick. If you've got like people in your life who are similar size, like mom, sisters, cousins, whatever, don't get rid of clothes before asking them if they want to look at them, because something that, maybe doesn't fit you well anymore, or it's just not your style anymore, they may really like. My sister and I do this all the time. In fact, we share a maternity collection. So all of our maternity clothes, we just pass back and forth when one of us is pregnant. So my mom is short. She's 5'2", and I'm not short. I'm tall. And so a lot of times she'll buy something and then just, realize it just doesn't fit her well. And so here I am, ready to take her hand-me-downs. So all this came from my mom's closet. She did a closet clean out, and I was like, ooh, let me look through what you have. And she had a lot of stuff that just it fit me well. It was really cute. It did not go with the rest of my wardrobe though, so I passed. In fact, the first sweater that you saw me try on, the animal print one, that is something I would usually pass on, but I figured I'd take it and try it. I don't know. I'm not a big animal person print typically, but just spicing it up in my old age here. Just kidding. But I really like sweaters, especially really long ones. They're just very cozy. So I never pass on a good sweater. Okay, so let's move on back to our thrifted stuff. This little end table, I was so excited about. It is so heavy. Despite me picking it up, in this video, it doesn't look heavy, but it is so solid and so heavy. It was $30. That's more than I would usually spend on a little end table. But like I said, it was just so well made and in great shape. I had this other table in the nursery, but I liked this one better that I'm putting in its place because it has a little drawer. It has more space to put little books, and just a better fit for this space. And in keeping with our all or nothing discussion, my home has been a major, work in progress. It is so easy to want everything right now, especially in this social media age when we look at other people's beautiful homes and we think, ooh, I need the finished product to happen right now. And that can even cause people to take out loans, spend money they don't have, to have everything the way they want it right now. We talk a lot about, the older generations who have kind of left us to fend for ourselves as far as skills and wisdom. But our generation, we are most guilty of wanting instant gratification. Delayed gratification is very difficult for millennials and younger generations. We want everything right now, and we can even you know, take that so far as, like I said, accumulating massive amounts of debt just to have the things that we want. And having debt is such a weight. It takes a real toll on a person. It is much better to be patient instead of, thinking all or nothing. Like, I've got to have everything perfect right now. Be patient and buy things when you can afford them. Buy things when, you actually find what you really want long term. Don't just buy something quick just to have it when you don't actually love it and it's not something that you're going to keep for a really long time, or it doesn't actually go with your style or what you really like. So, that's one reason I love thrifting. And here I'm just switching out a couple of little footstools. I love these little thrifted footstools that I've just collected over the years. When you have little people, they can't reach things. And so I keep little stools everywhere. When I find a cute one, I buy it. This little one that I just got, it's a better fit for this nursery than that big one I had in here. So I put the big one out by my bed and put this little guy in here. So $12.99 for a, this is one of a kind. You're not going to find that at Target, And the frames that I hung up, those were $1 a piece, but the frame is good. So I'll just replace that ugly art with prints from Etsy or family pictures or something like that. It takes more time, but it is worth the wait. I've got 3 things here that I didn't end up using. I don't have a place for right now, but over the next couple of years, we are going to be finishing our basement and adding some bedrooms onto the house. We're not going to do an addition, but the tentative plan is we're going to put a second story in our house. And well, that's not the right way to say it. It's technically called a floor over remodel, because our main living space has a very tall vaulted ceiling and there's a loft on one end, and it's open right now. So we're going to close that loft off and just extend it over the living room, and that will be a lot of space. So I'm going to start collecting pieces as I see them for both of those things, for the basement and for the upstairs. So usually if I went thrifting and I saw something I liked but I didn't have a place for it, I would just not get it. But like I said, that's going to change. So this frame here, $10. I really like the frame, but I'm not sure what this is. Don't know what this art is. I don't like it though. I'm not going to keep it. I'll switch it out for something that I do like. That's what I do all the time. I buy frames that I like, and then I, get prints or canvases and then put them in the frames. I really liked this table. Very solid, very well made. This was $12, so I got that. And baskets. You can never have too many cute baskets, just to keep little treasures in or to decorate with. This is actually a wine basket, so you can put wine bottles and snacks in here. For your winery days when you have 5 kids, your non-existent winery days when you have 5 kids. It's just not something we do or that we have time for, but I really liked the basket. So let's see, yeah, it was $7, very well made basket. So that's it. I will tuck these pieces away in the basement for now and slowly start just building a collection of things that I like. And I may or may not use them, but the great thing is if I don't use them, I can actually sell these for more than I bought them for. If I was looking for a different side gig or something, or if I wanted to make a little bit of money, this is totally how I would do it. I would go junking through, thrift stores, or I'd go to auctions and I would pick up pieces, like curate collections of items, where I'd buy them for dirt cheap and then turn around and resell them for a profit. I think that would be so fun. I know people who have done that and it's actually turned into something really profitable. So there you go. If you're needing a way to make a little extra money and you like doing this kind of thing, that would be a great way to do it. I have so many ideas. When I'm with my friends, I'm always coming up with ideas on like, ooh, this would be a good little business. That'd be a good business. But, I like coming up with the ideas more than I would actually like doing them myself, because I just don't have the time. But anyway, enough of that. That is it for this week. That's it for this week's video. So next week, we will be spending time in the garden, spending time in the kitchen, got a lot to do. It's been raining a lot, so I haven't been able to get out to the garden, and it's already almost time to think about preparing for sowing all of my summer crops. So I'm pretty excited about that. So see you guys next week.